share a little kind of close find. This is important to me. um, I would like to say that I did the numbers on Yellowstone, and I've been holding off on doing this mainly because I have a dream that I follow, and I really didn't put two together when it comes to Yellowstone. But in light of a few other revelations, I probably should do the numbers, so here we go. Now, Yellowstone is a caldera. In history, it's crept across the bottom side of Idaho. It's known to have exploded 5 times. Now, there's all kinds of videos out there saying that the animals are running and they're getting upheavals in the height of the park. I can also say that I know a bit about geography and geology, and it was one of my favorite subjects in college. And I can tell you one thing. I heard a report today that the east side of Idaho has decided to do boreholes. For whatever reason it was, it turns out that it's a good pressure release. However, on the other side of Yellowstone in Wyoming, they're getting push. It's causing landslides. And the one in Washington is a perfect example of being pushed, because the Juan de Fuca plate and the Pacific plate, they all kind of push northeast, and that's evidenced in some of the fossils. I won't get into the details there, but this is just some of the knowledge I have. Anyway, I want to put a couple things out about Yellowstone. I have a bad feeling because of the new interpretation of the dream. Everything is symbology. The dream is a man hanging off a fireball. After that, all hell breaks loose. Not the kind of 2012 movie kind of shit, but more like the government's going to do some fucked up stuff. Anyway, Yellowstone. Well, let's look at look what we got going on here. Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. These are the 3 states that house the caldera. As I told you before, Idaho has been releasing the pressure. Montana, what it is the caldera has gone through the Rocky Mountains. So let me just say that. If you understand the Rocky Mountains and you've been through Montana, you'll notice that there's plateaus, there's passes, there's all kinds of things. But anyway, Montana is interesting because Montana would be considered, the western side anyway, is where Lake Missoula was at during the Ice Age. It was a huge frozen lake, high up, obviously. And Idaho and the Columbia River, the valley that I lived in, and all the way through the Columbia River was sculpted when an ice dam broke between the Idaho and Montana border, which is the Bitterroots. Okay, so you have lots of lakes and beautiful things now, but back then it would have been a huge flood. A flood from a high place, which would have been Montana, and we're talking about where the caldera is at. Everything is downhill from there. I'm happy to say I'm plenty far away and to the west. But, if anybody has ever studied, what's the one in Oregon that I went to? Crater Lake. There's another caldera there, and Crater Lake is actually part of the same chain. They share a same main magma chambers, which causes it. And I feel the rumbles every day. But I feel rumbles all over the world, and unless I see something big like, I don't know, Japan a couple of years back, or what was that, San Francisco back in '88. Oh, I felt that, and I lived in Ohio then. So anyway, I do want to say that there's some similar numbers between these three states, and these are numbers that are very important to me. I watch out for them all the time. It's the 7737. And as you can see, Montana and Idaho match up in the reverse code, which is an upside down G if you were to look at it if you were to look at it in my codes. But the RE37 is something that I totally pay attention to, and any time that I'm looking at a creation number like that, which 3 sevens is 21 if you want to look at creation, but 3 sevens is also heaven, heaven, heaven. It's also earth, heaven, earth, heaven, earth, heaven, earth, heaven. If man is 666, the next step up is 777. We don't go to the fifth dimension because we're already there. We go to the seventh. So any way you want to look at it. The funny thing is I was more worried about some friends over in Wyoming, and basically anybody east. Now, I included Wyoming here because Wyoming has part of the caldera as well. And the numbers come out different. It comes out stone. Now, to me, on old maps that people have done, like Casey and things like that, there is the water map that he does. And in the water map, basically the landmass shrinks for America, and we get this great big old giant lake-like river in the middle where the Mississippi runs. People that are safe are the ones that are close to the Rocky Mountains, which is the backbone of our side of the world. Goes all the way from North America to South America. And it's highly active because you have so much pressure on it. That's why you have that backbone. Think about it. So anyway, so Wyoming did show up, and it's showing me as a stone, which kind of reminds me of the fact that my friends that are close to the stone, the Rocky Mountains in Wyoming, you should be alright. I worry about you though, because everything is gonna blow east. So I love you. Anyway, I will mention that the stone and Wyoming are matching up, which is a good sign for you guys. And also, I can't pull 9 in the Chaldean for Wyoming because it's a spiritual number, but it does reverse out to 7, which is close to the 777 in the code, since 9 is Chaldean. That just kind of a neat little boost, and it puts you back at 3, which means create. So if this thing decides it wants to do what it's gonna do, let it do what it's gonna do. I'm pretty sure that the little bubble of heaven is covering us, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, and I would imagine that it's going to extend also to Nevada and Utah, and I would also say Alberta and Saskatchewan. You guys should be just fine. Love y'all. Be safe.